Hello, beautiful hearts. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Hamish, for being by my side this time as well. Beautiful what we are creating together. Thanks to you, to your support, to your holding space in such a beautiful way. And yes, today I was thinking we will talk about ego. What is the ego? Do we need him or do we need to kill it? Or what is all this about ego? So, because I see many go so deep and they want to kill this ego, they want to dissolve it, they want to. And little do we know about ego and the beliefs that we have been created around this ego. So, yeah, tell me, Hamish, how you see this ego. What's coming to you? How you perceive it?
I'm looking forward to this one, Juliana. I think this is going to be very interesting. Um, my ego, it's evolved, or maybe my understanding of it has evolved. I guess I used to think it was a bad thing because everyone told me it's a bad thing to have an ego and things like that. But the more I've realized what mine is, it's a hero. It helped me make sense of things when I was growing up that I couldn't understand. It was basically able to say, this is not okay for Hamish. He's going to shout. He's going to cry. He's going to rage. He's going to stamp his feet. He's going to look after himself. So my understanding is it's something it's a primordial protective system. And that's what it does. Unfortunately, it's in a 7-year-old body. And so in that respect, it's going to throw its toys.
Mm,
And yeah, I think that is my understanding of the ego. So killing it, that's not going to help because it also keeps you alive. It also protects you. But I think it protects you from using the past as a reference. So, it doesn't allow me to look forwards and anticipate and plan and think because it's like, what if, what if, what if, what if? And it don't work. It's got to be in harmony. That is what I think the ego is. That's my understanding of it. Yeah.
thank you. Yes. Yes, it is. It's an aspect of it for sure. I'm resonating with it as well. In my perspective, how I'm seeing the ego is this avatar? Is this body? Is this brain? Is this computer, so to say? So, based on our own experiences growing up, we collect everything inside and then we create this, so to say, ego, personality, persona. Ego is a persona. And then later on, we move on in life and we meet with the spirituality and then we want to kill it when in reality, in my perspective, is we have to become friends with it. We have to give it a chance to understand it because, as you said, ego actually wants to protect us, wants to take care of us because it's having all these memories, the experiences, the all that it was going through. So when something is going on in your life, of course you're coming. What if it's coming this and happening that and that, because the ego knows, hey, but in the past was happening something and you fail or you did this or they don't help you, whatever. So of course the ego come to, hey, what if this will not working out and so on. So in my perspective, ego is just persona. People want to get rid of it. I would say become the best friend with it. It's it's your shadow, if you want to call it. Okay, let's put it in another picture. Is your shadow. Is this part of you that have felt everything, have experienced it, and because wants to protect you to not go again into the same pain or experiences, it wants to protect you and it's coming with these thoughts or stuff just to stop you. And it's take your awareness to figure out, okay, I understand my ego is afraid, wants to take care of me, but I'm in another space. I can move forward. So For me, ego is our friend. Before to become friend is a huge enemy. And that's why we want to kill it, we want to dissolve it, we want to get rid of it. When actually without the ego, we cannot manage life on earth. Because is this persona? Is this avatar? Is this what we see in the mirror? What are we identify as being separate one from the other one? Like, I am me, you are you. I'm female, you are male. I have one system, belief, feels, value, you have another one. So that's the difference when in the core of who is in the body, we know it is a soul. That's the eternal, and this in the core of it we felt the same. So that is my perspective of ego. And to become friend with it, we have to give a chance to enter in its own world, to open that door, so to say, to the ego life, to see all these experiences and to take it slowly, to become friends, to hold the hands. That's how I can say it. And when you do this, it's the shadow work, huh? It's to go deep down, it's to work with something that you was afraid and want to push it out. So that's my perspective of ego. And I want to share with you an experience that it's a little bit blow my mind, and I get a little bit freaked out. I was having an experience laying down, relaxing, and a lot of energy bombarding me, body was shaking, and my consciousness just going to this music, and I was the music, but my body was going in such a craziness because it was shaking, it was really shaking all. And I was listening to music and I was like, wow, I'm not in this body, but I was observing the body. And then also with my consciousness, it's like saying, I want to go inside. And I find myself in the mind, which I call it the matrix. And what I saw there is like a endless to discover, to go deep and deep, or whatever was going on is but less transforming in fear. And I tried to go another way and it looked beautiful, but then again it's transforming something in fear. Even I find myself being this Alice in Underworld, like really everything was so big and I was a small, and I saw this spiral watch as well. And I was like, whatever was going in, I was like, I cannot stay this too long time because I will get lost. I really felt I will get lost because I realized I'm in my mind. What I'm doing there. So I'm like, I need to get out from here. Like I will get lost myself if I will stay here. So I kind of get out from my mind, which that's also was part of the matrix somehow. I realized it for my own self. And I could say, like, let's say I explore my own ego mind. Let's say that because that's how I kind of experience it, to go there deep, but I don't stay there because it will kind of easily play with you. You cannot figure out because suddenly it will take you and pull it in another experience and pull it in another experience, and it will freak you out. I guess that was my own experience.
Can you consider the ego as lots of separate events or separate avatars? I mean, so how would you have a conversation with each one to try and, let's say you're struggling with something, you always snap at somebody, you always do something when someone triggers you, there's that instant reaction and you're fed up of it, but that is your ego. How do you start to dissolve? Oops, no, we're not allowed to dissolve the ego. How do
Mm.
we communicate with that fear, that trigger, and begin to understand it so we can learn from next time it pops up and choose to do something differently?
I see ego a collective of identities. Each experience we had creates an identity. We also have a lot of identity from another past life that is here now, that let's say, our ancestor wounds that is here now, which is related to specific events they go through and is in our DNA and is here. That's the ego, a collective of personalities. And we come here in life to experience our own, but we have to be aware somehow we are experiencing our ancestors' life or experience that they go through or pain in a different way, in our unique way, but also experience kind of the same thematic. So I see it as a many personality based on the experience we had. How to become friends with it is I had a period where I have to sit down to speak with myself out loud, to be aware of those fear over those thoughts and to say, hey, Juliana, I understand you want that. I understand you crave after X, Y, for example, have attachment of something. And I'm speaking out loud and myself, hey, I feel you. I see you. I got you. I'm here with you. So for how I am learning to work with myself is to speak out loud to myself, to look in the mirror and to speak with myself as I speak with another person, but which I care dearly. But I'm speaking to such a like like a motherly as well in the same time. To say I'm seeing you, I feel you, I understand. So they want to be acknowledged, those feelings, those thoughts, those fears. They don't say, hey, I'm here. I acknowledge you. I'm seeing you. Yes, you acknowledge you're seeing. I love you. And staying with that emotions to a point where I even have conversation and say, yeah, but it was in the past. It's not happening today anymore. So really speaking like a child. That's how I'm working with my own ego, so to say. Talking like a child with a child that it's fearful, it's afraid to go left and right, but it's our awareness who it's taken to direct it where to go. Go left, oh, I'm afraid. It's okay, I'm here with you. So that's how I am talking with my own ego and go close and close and close to become this, to trust me, because we have to have trust in each other. So because ego, who it is our mind, the brain, and we are in the heart, which is our soul. So now we have to put them together. But before to make this beautiful friendship, they are kind of separate, mind and heart, and they have trust issues, because sometimes when you're too much in the heart and you do good things, you get hurt because, yeah, we need to put our logic. It's not only feelings, there are many things. Oh, you're stupid heart. Yeah, but it's who you are. But that's why we come here now to be in a friendship. So that's my own way of communicating and learn to come close, to trust my mind, to trust my heart, and my heart to trust my mind. It's really like a circuit constantly. Yeah.
It's a dialogue, isn't it, with a
Yeah.
child, as you said. It
Yeah.
really is. A child with prone to tantrums, prone to having to be right, having to be acknowledged. Absolutely. Basically, I think it's all of those things that it didn't get that it really craved, that it desired, that it wanted. Yeah. And now you have to parent it.
Exactly. Exactly. Because we are souls in a body, and the souls has its own life, so to say. But when we are functioning through this physical body, then it has to translate that through this physical body, which has its own patterns, realities, beliefs, life stories, experiences. So it's it's changing, it's translating in a specific individual ways to each individual person. So ego is, we need it because we can function in this reality, three-dimensional reality, and it's helping us to manifest in the physicality. Is like this body is your brain, which you call it the ego. It's actually help you to navigate into this reality, because if a soul is coming in a poor clean body, it will freaking out, because it will look around. I will not understand what's going on, what I'm doing here. I get lost in a nuts place. What is happening? Because we need to train the ego to realize that this is the physical world that we live in. This is how it's function. This, we have the state here, we have money here, we have friends here, we have school, blah blah blah. So it's important to understand that you don't need to kill it. You have to, let's say, melt its fences and find a hand to give the hand together with your ego. And then from that place, you can create together.
That makes a lot of sense. I remember chatting. I remember chatting to a friend, and we were doing a session, and she just sort of looked at me and said, "Hamish, your ego is so frightened of dying. It wants to exist, and it is so scared of you killing it that it is just holding you hostage." And I don't know whether this is off topic or not, but I've realised 2 days ago that my trauma response is to freeze. Kind of makes sense when I realised it, because when I was 6 or 7, I stepped backwards through a glass door. It was a 1950s or 1960s glass door, so the glass was not safety glass. So Hamish steps back, there's a crash, and I'm standing there, and I was aware enough that if I move my hands, I will probably cut them to shreds. So I didn't move. I just stood there. I don't know whether I was rescued or not, but I remember I had a tiny cut on my leg. And so that is my default, is freezing. And now I'm aware of that. And that makes sense that my ego remembers that really, really intimately. That smash, that noise, that sound, and then freeze to save my life. The problem with now freezing to save my life is I don't achieve things. I don't get things done. I don't do this. I am stuck. So I've had to say to little Hamish in the glass door, saying, dude, I've got you. Let's step out. Let's look left and right, up and down, see where all the bits of glass are, see where this monster is, and we will come out of it. So I've had to rescue that little Hamish in that glass door. And you've just helped me join the fact that, that is an aspect of my ego. So I'm not going to kill him. It's just like, go on, dude. You know how to stand still when shit happens. Cars coming everywhere. You don't run across the road. You look. So the little guy has saved my life. So I can't kill him. I just have to say to him, look, hold my hand. And as you said, let's be friends. And then when we freeze, we can go, right, okay, let's look. What am I experiencing? What can I learn from this? And then we can carry on, dance together and say, yeah, we've done it. What's going to happen next? So yes, that is my experience of the ego. One of them. There's probably several more identities and facets, but I know that is changing how I perceive life and how I do things.
Yeah. And what ego is afraid of?
Getting hurt, I guess.
Hmm.
It kept me safe. He kept me safe from screaming and turning round and cutting my arms and all that kind of stuff. It kept me alive.
Yes.
However, it doesn't allow me to thrive. I'm frozen. I can't feed myself. I can't do this. I can't do that. Something has to change. So big Hamish had to say to little Hamish, come on, dude, we've got
Yeah.
this and we have to work together. And he's a stubborn bugger. He really is. That's the problem. The ego is stubborn. Stubborn.
Yeah, because from my own experience, as you said, yes, when I realized that I have to let go of all that I thought is who I am, that's mean letting go of the ego or letting go of the concept and idea who I was or who I am. I was crying and freaking out from nothing, just crying and freaking out, realizing that I have to let go, but I don't know who is coming. And I realize what what is afraid is our ego likes to know where we go, what we do, everything to be anticipated, and this how it is, and this. And when things are not anticipated, then the ego is freaking out because, like, yeah, but what's happening then? I don't know. And because unknown, again the unknown, and because don't know what's going on to be the other side, it's kicking now, it's crying, it's making so much circus, I call it again, this drama, because it don't wants to go in a place where it don't need to do anything, because ego has just to observe, kind of is has to just be there and take action when is necessary, instead of blending itself in all and everything and put there and there. So I observe that ego is really afraid. And ego is our lowest self, if we're higher self, lower self, is this being, creation that has been experienced and don't want to be hurt. It's running away from love because in the past, when really love and open the heart, it's breaking the heart. Now when the real love is coming, it's freaking and is running away because unconscious it feels something and don't want to go there again. So it's protecting us, but it's afraid of the unknown. And when we take those steps into the unknown, where the ego is frozen, but we talk to it and say, hey, you are not alone. I'm here with you now. I know you're freaking out. I know you're afraid, but I'm here with you now. Let's do it from here. So take it the small steps every time, again and again. It will start to trust you and it will go with you. So change, radical change, is afraid of it. Things to not be um, known in the future. It's like to perceive everything as know what's going X, Y, Z. And if this is not happening, it's really freezing, as you say. So exactly as you say. So you have to be that person to take it by hands, talk to it, and small steps to trust. Yeah.
It's another layer of that complication, isn't it? Because we're trying to grow, we're trying to build businesses, we're trying to build families, we're trying to live joyful lives, and that necessitates getting out of our comfort zone. And then so it's almost like the more we want to grow, the harder it is because this thing's dragging us back. But there's that fear. I can understand that I need to kill it. But obviously, we've just proved that we can't do that. So going back to that, how am I going to make friends and stay friends and learn to trust? Because if it's that 3-year-old who's just having a temper tantrum, it's not willing to move, and yet you, me, the adult, we have a vision. How are we going to? I don't want to use the drag. How are we going to encourage our ego to come with us and support us?
You have to go back in time when you have experienced something similar with what you're experiencing now that make you to freeze. So it's like to take with you a session, sit down, ask your higher self to assist you, and you put the intention to go back in time. When have you experienced what you experience now? That ego is so frozen that cannot move forward, because you have to go in time and past to heal, to be there with yourself And then it's kind of like a Sherman session, go there, do it, and then move forward, because it's parts that has happened in the past and there is like frozen. And when we want to move on future, do something for ourselves, but that part that as a child was not healed is still frozen. So we have to go back, connect with that part and ourselves, talk to it with that small child that has been experienced or felt alone, or and connect with it. And I don't say convincing to the mind level, but talk with it. Send your love, protection, all that it has needed in that moment. Ask it what it's needing. It's okay. It's safe now. I'm here. You're not alone anymore. And I'm sorry I could not be there for you, but now I'm here. So, really, like a child, connect and come back because those parts we need in order to melt, let's say, the frozen ego that keep us stuck today to not move forward, to melt that, so to start to feeling good with you and trust you. That's how I can say it. It's is to heal, to do the inner work, shadow work, call it whatever. But for me, I really see how it's functioned when we go in the past and just ask ourselves, when last time I have been experienced this, and then connect, and you will see it, you will feel it. It's with intention, it's happening, and slowly, slowly, that's how we become friends with it. And it's learn to trust us, and we start to become more comfortable with, oh, this how it is, this is how my ego is working, this is, yeah, and that's how we create this relationship.
I have got absolute goosebumps everywhere because that is a shamanic soul retrieval. I was laughing when you said the word shaman. It is absolutely that. It is finding that aspect of you alone, aspects of me. I found one the other day when I was doing the washing up. He was playing in some fields where I grew up, swinging on the trees, quite happy. So I said, "Do you want to come and join me?" He said, "Hell no." He said, "You're a miserable bastard. I'm not going to join you until you cheer up and change your life a little bit." So
Mm.
not just trust him, I had to start changing my habits. I had to start putting a bit more joy in my life. And what it meant for me was, if I want that part of my ego to reintegrate with me, I've got to give that part of my ego something it didn't have. So maybe Hamish in the glass just needs rescuing.
Mm.
Maybe he just needs a big hug and say, "Come on, dude, pick you up. You're out of the glass. Look at that little cut. Let's fix it. Are you safe?" Maybe that's all he needs. The guy in the trees, I just go and play with him in the trees. He's now with me a bit more often. But if I'm not paying attention, if I'm too busy being a human, not doing, too busy doing, not being, he goes, "Sayonara." I'm going to go back to the trees. And yeah, I love the way you phrase that because that makes so much sense. It is find that break, that disconnect, that lost soul, reconnect, and then you have to change. You said it. You have to do the inner work.
Yeah, and of course, as you said, if you don't do the change, if you are constantly doing, because that's what you are used to do constantly, then the inner child we don't want to play with you, because I want to be creative, I want to paint, I want to run, I want to play with kids, I don't know, whatever. That's the inner child,
Yeah.
that's the ego that we call it, that's the part that, and of course will not come close to you when you just don't
Mm.
stuff to do. It wants to enjoy. So totally agree with you. Yes, more creativity you bring into your life, more the inner child is playing.
Playing, dancing, making a mess, being noisy, being disorganized, having fun, being cuddled, being held safe, being safe. Yeah.
Exactly.
Not standing in a glass door, not being terrorized by whatever.
Ego is our own inner child. And the same time, our own inner child is our soul. You see, if we go on this, we will get totally. But to keep it simple, So when we experience traumatic experience when we was a child, it's like fractal of ourselves have breaking apart, have taken out and go into that specific experience and that specific experience, and we get kind of piece of ourself was lost, and that's why we have to go in the past to heal it, is to go with your inner vision, with your energy and emotions there, to bring it that here, to put it in union again. And then again, you are calling your energy back, you are calling your power back, which that inner child will become a healthy ego. That it will only be there to observe and maybe lift up the hands. Hey, hello, here something is going on. We have to listen it to it as well. Yeah, that's how I'm seeing it. It's not just something to throw out to. It's actually the most important things we need to be functional.
And it's your boundaries as well, isn't it?
Yes,
That ego has said, I am not going to tolerate that.
yes, and maybe as such a simple thing that for my boundaries, maybe when I tell you, hey, this is my boundary, you almost laugh because for you that you don't see it so important, but for me it's really important. So you have to respect that because you don't know my experience, but this is the line. I will not explain you why. So exactly that's what it is, because it's then not that we protect ourselves, but also we know this is my identity, this is my values, this is who I am. So boundaries, it's really important to have in order to protect that inner child, to don't be hurt again. We need the boundaries, and does not matter how small or big they are, but they have to be spoken out. So that we also acknowledge our own inner child and say, I'm taking care of myself, so it will trust me.
Mm. That is not seeking that external validation. That is not snapping and biting at people. It's just saying, I don't need to do that because I don't need to. It doesn't serve. Yeah. Or you don't need to treat me like that because I'm not going to play that game. Yes, I want to be your friend, but if you're going to treat me like an asshole,
Yeah.
I don't need you. Yeah. So I want to ask you another question then. So I've identified I'm snapping, I'm biting. I found that trigger point. I've realized there is an identity, a fracture, a disconnect, a piece of my soul missing, whatever language you
Mm.
really like. How am I going to find it? Because you talked about getting quiet and settling down, but how am I going to find that experience back in memories, especially if it was something really traumatic? Is that going to re-traumatize me?
No, because you go there with awareness this time. You are a grown up going back into the time. Maybe the fear may knock on the door because you don't know what to expect. That, from my own experience, will not traumatize me again. I will may feel the emotions again, how I have been felt it. But that is important because finally I allow myself to feel and to be there with myself, but this time more aware. And actually, to go back is to go back with the compassion and know that you go to, let's say, rescue yourself. It's like I see like going back in the tunnel, say, hey, my baby, I'm coming here. So to go back with intention, with awareness, with compassion and understanding and love for yourself. You may feel it, but you not feel it in the same this incredible pain like how you feel it first time because you are in another place. So for example, you go through specific experiences, you're freaking out, a lot of emotions come out, you don't know how to. You have to take time with yourself and to sit down to ask your guides, your angels, what you believe in, your ancestors, and with intention to go in the back in time where you have been experiencing exactly experience as now that's trigger you now. So kind of go in time, solve that problem that's keep you now in this prison or trigger or fear or emotions, whatever you go through. But you go with compassion and you understand that I'm going there to clean up the mess. I'm going there with love and compassion. I go there to take myself back. And yes, I may feel with that child in a child of me, but it will not hit me to the same level that it has been experienced. Actually, this time you'll have so much more compassion and you will understand differently how you have perceived that time. So it's a huge experience for you as a adult to experience that was happening that time, but also to observe your inner child, that part of you that had get lost in time because it's have felt so much pain. So no, it will not be more worse, or it'll not be because the worst what's happening has been happened. Now you are in another place with awareness, compassion, love, and you go to rescue yourself.
I really like that, and it's gentle.
Hmm.
It's, as you said, there's a purpose and there's a mission, there's an intention. Um, I'm just trying to put myself back in some events that didn't make sense as a child, and I can feel the rage and the injustice, but I can choose either to go back into that. I think this is the crux, isn't it? I can
Hmm.
either choose to go back into that and just feel it and be that child, or I can step back and just say, no, that's in the past. I can't change it, but I can say, hey, Hamish, let's go. So
Yeah.
I'm, as you said, there's an intention. I'm on a different energy. I'm on a different trajectory, a different experience. But I've had to become aware of that. So I've already had to do some inner work to that. So how would you guide someone to start doing this introspection? I know in shamanic practices that is my role. I would be the guide. We would do that together. But in other ways of doing it, how would you set about guiding somebody and taking them through that journey to find themselves again?
Try hypnotherapy. A hypnotherapy, I will call it, where it's not a hypnosis to go so deep, but is a place where you are aware on both realities and we go back in time with the guidance, with that space and love, safety, that it's okay to go back to meet with yourself. And with visualization, with guidance, we go back in that time and we observe what you have done, what are you doing, what's going on around you, how you feel, how you want to feel. And we help that inner child that time. We ask the bigger person, the mature, like example, this big Hamish right now, we ask him, okay, can you give to the small Hamish that things that he wanted in that exactly moment and you cannot have it? And then you give it what it's need. Oh, I want to play. Okay, so play with your inner child. Okay, I want some cookies or cake. Okay, so make some cake and give it. So connect in that moment, like really give to the your own inner child those things and create this a unity, and see feel it, because when you are there with yourself you feel how you have been felt. You now you are on the same emotions with it, but you are aware you cannot be kicking and crying in the same way because you're more an observer right now than in that specific emotions. You can feel it, but it's different. You can jump in it and blame again, yes, is a choice, but it's more to connect, to have compassion, actually, to acknowledge that pain, that feeling. And in this way, and then again, we come back. because we are meeting in our life some walls, some it's happening to face in our life that is so much connected with our own inner child in the past that has go through some stuff, and now we face it again. I'm like, ooh, so we have to go to connect with that small part of ourselves. That's how I will guide people to connect with their inner child, to go back in another place, in another space, with more awareness. And in the same time, you will learn yourself, you will see yourself from another perspective, and you will learn to have compassion because you see yourself as a child. Now you understand, So, beautiful hearts. Ego is our friend. Ego, it's our best friend when we really know how to give hand and recreate again that friendship, coming together with it, is our best friend that wants to protect us, but also is helping us to manifest into reality our own inside dreams that we have it. One thing, because we have a mind, which is the brain, which is a human mind, and it's have been uploading, so to say, all the experience, the feelings, what you see, heard, read, all that is in this computer. Then you have an experience in life, which the experience is felt by your physical body. And then when you grow up, you meet with this spirituality, you go in touch with your own spirit. Then the stories start to change because now you have to be aware that who you truly are to the core have nothing to do with what's going here into your own physical reality. But you have to be aware that your mind, brain, human brain, have been collected like toys, have been collected many things through the years, and its function based on that is like it's having its own map. It's navigating through its own map. Everybody have their own map to navigate through the life. Then when you awaken and get aware of yourself, you face as well the experiences that has not been acknowledged, and they are in your body in form of stuck energy. I hope I will not lost you on the way and will stay here. When we are aware of our own beingness of I am, we are living in this physical body. We are feeling more those triggers, pain, fears, whatever we want to do in life, it's kicking with specific emotions. Then we need to be aware that's not who we are. It's something in our physical body stocked as a memory of a world experience, and then it's translated to our own brain because that's how we are function, and then it's creating, coming up with a story based on what we feel. That's have nothing to do with who you are. All it's take your awareness to go in the past with your mind, to connect with your inner child, to bring that pieces back with you, to heal, to love, and to more come together. And when you come together, is like then your ego is like, we call it there the ego, is that part of us that it's helping us to walk, to eat, to do normally things that a human being is doing. That's our ego. But we have to be friends, not push it. So we are like this trinity in one at the same time. Mind, body, soul is all in unity with one, but being in alignment with yourself, being here at peace at the core, then we can be aware of all those parts. So it's feel like a mathematic. But yes, so don't fear your own ego. Be curious actually to know it, because understanding yourself will be so easy to navigate further in life, to become friend with yourself, with that shadow side of you, to love it and to be compassionate with it. That's all that's take. Love for self. Thank you, beautiful hearts.